Hey everybody, welcome to the week one recap of fantasy football. So we'll recap quick week one, and we'll try to do this weekly on Wednesdays. This might not be uploaded right away though, so um, I don't know if I want to do them live or just record them and upload them in the future. But we're gonna quickly go through week one as I myself took on Matt Fisher's team and won in week one, 92 to 77. And there's the top three scores for each team. We'll look at the box score for that in a bit, but and then Maria versus Dylan. Maria had the fourth best score of the entire week, and still lost to one of the three that had a better score. Unfortunately, she had Ayuk, who had 32 points, but Tyreek Hill had 44 for Dylan. So that was a big points day for Tyreek Hill in week one. And then the other Matt and Caitlin. Matt wins 96 to 69. Top scores for each team right there. The top three scorers. And then my two uncles go head to head. We'll go. He's under Bud Fox on here. That's my uncle I play with on Arc on PC. And then Bill, who's won the first week 123 to 91. Justin Jefferson scored the most for Bill. Patrick Mahomes scored the most for Bud Fox. And then my dad won week one over Mason, 120 to 87. And then Brandon versus Andrew. Andrew won 83 to 65 over Brandon. And then that is Colby versus Gary, my uncle Gary. Colby won it in the last 2 minutes of the game on Monday night with Stephon Diggs. Ended up getting just one catch he needed in like the last so long of the game, like 8 minutes left of the game or something. He needed one catch, didn't get it until like the last minute and a half, and then got a couple catches after to raise it up even more. But he was just shy. He was like 100.8 or something for the longest time, and ended up getting it last minute on Monday Night Football to beat Gary 107 to 101. And then Fournette, I don't remember who that one is off the top of my head. Fournette play. Anyway, it's Pat. That was Pat versus, I forgot who is the Fournette one. I literally had everybody, so who the heck am I missing? Who did I? Fournette. Oh, Zach. Zach Flippin. Zach Flippin ended up winning 92 to 78. So that's your week results in week number one. Box score. We'll look at all the box scores, I think. We'll go across the board here with that. There's your box score with all the points. For this matchup, Daniel Jones projected a 17.5, only ended up with 4.4. That one hurt me, but I still ended up winning. Like, my projected was 112, only ended up with 92. And his projected was 95, only ended up with 77. So, I was projected to beat him by about 15, and I still beat him by about 15. Just, we're both well under. Geez, that was a 20 under, and yeah, it was close to about the same difference. But see, this actually tells you who it is. So that's so there you have that matchup. Moving on to the next one. So, Maria and Dylan. Any standouts there? Well, Tyreek Hill was projected at 20, ended up at 44. The pre-projections, it was going to be very tight, 109 to 108, with Dylan winning and projected by 1 point. Ended up winning by 13, but they were both over the projections too. And this was the bench. Look at all the points on the bench he had too. Tight end at 16. That was well over that one. He could have had way more. Their defense on the bench scored more than the Bills one, so he could have even had more points, but so could she. She had 12 here for the Saints defense. Actually, I think the defense, yeah, same thing, 12. So that was exactly the same, and the quarterback actually scored more as well. The rest, I mean, really, wait, did she not have, oh, she used 2 tight ends in here. So she could have had a flex with any receiver, so really the only thing that it would have only been 4-point difference, the best flex one would have been only 4 points more. So, I mean, is what it is, I guess. So that was her matchup. Now we go to Caitlin and Matt, and that's that's what it turned out to be. I really wish I can get rid of that fantasy chat on the bottom right, because that's annoying. There's no way to get rid of that box. It's blocking this. I could. That's stupid. So Josh Allen only coming out of week 1 with 9 points. And over here, then Joe Burrow only had 3.18. So that was. Where's his? I mean, it's all close to the projected scores. Besides that one, he was projected to lose actually by 7 and won by almost 30. Wow. Look at the projection: 11.5 to 1, only scored 1.3. There was 11.8, only scored 7.9. 21, like it's. But, and even on the bench, nobody scored double digits. So, I mean, really, that was rough for everybody. Jeez. So, moving on to the next one. This was my 2 uncles going head-to-head in week 1. And, Mahomes was a little under as projected. Herbert was over. He had 3. Bill had 3 people on his team scoring over 20. So, and the Jets defense was one of them. Wow. They were only projected at 4.7. So that was a big thing. Although he did have 0 with Dallas Goedert from Philadelphia, the tight end, had 0 points. And still ended up scoring 123. Bud Fox's kicker, Gano, how does he get -2? What? Oh, the blocked field goal. Does that go negative? Because they scored 0, so he didn't kick anything. He didn't have any points, but he got the blocked field goal returned for a touchdown. That must give you negative. I didn't realize that. So a blocked field goal, I don't know if it gave negative because it was blocked or because he was returned for a touchdown. Maybe a blocked field goal is 1 lost point and then a return is 2 lost points. I don't know. I didn't even realize that can happen, get a negative with a kicker, but he found a way to do it. They lost 40-0. That was rough. So that's that matchup, and then we move on to the next one. We're halfway through the matchups quick, and here is my dad and Mason. So had the third highest score, so he's third in the standings at 1-0 after week 1. Prescott, they had 40 points with a win, and Prescott only had 6.32 points because they scored so many points on defense, and special teams actually scored so much points in the beginning that they didn't really have nothing going on offense in the beginning. So, Trevor Lawrence scored 17. He was almost at his projected. Mason was actually projected to win with 110 and only scored 87. And my dad was projected at 107, actually to lose by 3, but scored 120, way over his projected. And Mason was almost 23 under. So big difference there as well. There's the bench. And move on to Brandy's boys and Andrew. Brandon and Andrew. Aaron Rodgers. What a tough break that story ended up being. Brandon had Aaron Rodgers on his team. 4th play into the game, torn his Achilles. He's out for the season. So, no luck for Brandon. 0 points on that because he only had 4 plays in the game and then got hurt into the first week of the season. So that's definitely one way to lose. That will not help you win. Obviously, nobody else helped either with the, Christian Kirk only scoring 1.9, 6.6 for Waller. All projected at double digits, only coming out with 1 point, almost 2 points, and then 6 and 5. So that was tough. But Deshaun Watson scoring more than projected. I did not want to take the chance on him because he sucked last year, but he did start off the first week pretty good. They play Monday night next week against the Steelers, so we'll see if he can continue that or that was just a fluke good game to start the season because everybody, was a little rusty, so he could have just had the better end of the rustiness, and maybe he'll get shown up the rest of the season. Who knows? I never wanted to take the chance on him, although both my quarterbacks in week 1 scored like less than 5 points, so that was, even my bench quarterback Tannehill did not have that many points in week 1 either, so it's not like I could have done anything different there. So that's that matchup, and they were projected 3 points win for Brandon. Almost 42 points less than projected for the loss. Projected to win by 3, and that's a very low projected score. And 14.6 for Carr, so if he had Carr in, that would have been 14 points more. And that would have been enough for 79. It still wouldn't have won, but it would have been closer. Now, if he also had Curtis Samuel in with 11 over, Christian Kirk, he would have won. If he had Curtis Samuel and Carr in, he would have won. But that's that matchup. We're getting closer to the end of the matchups here, and Tua scored 27.1 points, 10 points over projected. That really helped him be close. Colby was predicted to win by a big margin, only won by a little margin, and didn't even score his projected. So, Look, he had the oh my God. Colby had the Cowboys defense scored 35 points. That makes sense because they had the block kick return and they had a pick six return. So they had defense had 2 touchdowns. I think they were the first 2 touchdowns scored by the Cowboys were 2 defensive scores. 35 points. Even the Ravens defense, you'd think 12 was a good score for a defense. And then you look at this, it says 35. But he won anyway, so that was no big deal for him. This hurt here. This 18.6 could have been replacing like this 1.7. No, that's a running back. It was a receiver. So that could have been replacing this one. And then it would have been almost a dead heat. 18.6. It would have been almost 7 points. Almost 7 points. 7 points here would have been 108.34. It would have been close. It would have been like 108.14, I think, because it was 2 points less. Or 0.2, whatever. He would have won by less than a point if Gary had him in instead of Waddle. Little things, man. Little things add up. Last matchup was Zach Flippin and Pat. So let's see. Any standouts here? They had Anthony Richardson and Bijan Robinson. Top 2 on the left. Well over 20 points there. So big start there for Zach's team. That helped propel him to the victory. I am facing Pat next week, so hopefully he can stick to that 78 score next week, and I can score more and win 2 weeks in a row. But my luck, I never win 2 weeks in a row. I don't think I just can't. I can't win 2 weeks in a row. It's 1 win, 1 loss, 1 win, 2 losses, 1 win, loss. Stuff like that happens. So the projected was going to be Zach winning anyway by 8, but it was a lot more than an 8 margin, even though he didn't even score his projected score. So Travis Kelce was not on, didn't play week 1 for Pat, so he couldn't use him. And a projected 12.4 had 0. Luckily he was on the bench. But that's the matchups. And we look at the league standings after week 1, and there's me sitting in 6th. I had the 6th best winning score. There was, I think, 2 teams that lost that had a better score than me. But, yeah, because both Gary and Maria had over 100 points. I didn't even have 100. But that's the league standings after week 1. Dylan with the most points scored. It doesn't say the points scored on this page. I don't know why. I wish it did, but it does not. But I do have something to show you on the Discord. I did post. I posted the standings as well, so right here. So let's take a look. Open in full view. So here's a look at the matchups that I screenshotted from my phone, so you can look at it like this. So we'll go through them real quick. Oh, why'd I cut that off a little more than I wanted to? Oops. Jeez, cut off a lot more than I wanted to. Yeah. So that was that, and then I did also do the week 1. It's probably hard to see, but I did the week 1 detailed results as well. Posted them, which we just went over as well. So she scored 111, and T. Higgins didn't have any receptions for nothing either, so had 0 points. So that hurt her as well for getting to possibly winning that. Especially T. Higgins being a pretty, if he had a projected amount, he would have been almost close to winning. Or she would have been close to winning it for her, but. So I screenshotted all these, which we just went over on the page. But this is from the app on the phone. So screenshots from the phone. So this is the standings. I'll just open it in the browser so you can see it bigger. That tells you. No, it cuts off on the right. But that's a nice look at the standings right there as well as the other page. But it does say the points total, but it's cut off on the page there. It's because the phone's skinnier, so it couldn't get it obviously. But that is your. You can see the beginning. You can kind of see the points. You can see the beginning of the points. You just can't see the after the decimal, but you can. I can read every one of them. Like that's what, Dylan with 124, 123, 120, 107, 96, 92, 92, 83, and then the highest losing score was 111 with Maria and Gary with 101, then 91, 87, 78, 77, 69, 65. Just can't read the number after the decimal because it's cut off. But, yep, so back to the Discord. Whoops, so here is the order of the scores. So the top 16 scores in order by the scores. So that's the week. So just like what it showed in the standings, but there you can see it. That's the order of scores in week 1. That's everything, though. That doesn't go by, all the wins and then all the losses. This is the score in general. So, as you see, Maria's right here in the 4th best score, but that did lose. But it's just in score order. So, I'm way down here, but still ended up winning. I don't know who what's the lowest winning score? Zach won, right? So he's one right below me, and then I think Andrew won. Over Brandon, right? I don't remember. Or over. Well, anyway, that's your order. And there you should have it. And that'll do it for week 1 recap of fantasy football. We'll see you next time. And see you next week to recap week 2. Thanks for watching, everybody.